It's Macabre.
You blew
It's
it already.
Monday.
It's Monday. It's Macabre. How did you mess up the 2 words?
I told you I'm really tired. It's Monday. It's morning.
And it's Macabre. Welcome to Monday Morning Macabre. Scones has managed to already screw up the intro within the first
We're back.
5 seconds.
The boys are back.
The boys are back. We're talking about spooky, creepy, weird stuff.
Scary. Ghoulish. Nightmarish.
Sure. Keep going.
I'll keep going throughout the episode. I'll just
Yeah,
say randomly
people are
interject
gonna love
with
that.
different words.
We just had Thanksgiving. I couldn't go to my family Thanksgiving because I pulled a muscle in my back. Life is living hell, but I am not going to let you know that. Scones, what'd you do?
So at our Friendsgiving, I ate so much that I threw up, and I was like, oh, that was weird, and I'm kind of embarrassed. And then at my regular family Thanksgiving, I ate so much that I also threw up.
That's a double throw up turkey day.
I think that's what the holiday's about, though.
Yeah. So just finished Thanksgiving. We're heading into old December. We're going to get some Santa Claus stuff going. Probably have a special Christmas app. Shout out to all the
Horrifying.
The Instagram followers, Twitter
word.
followers. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, you're the best.
So we'll probably do some kind of Christmas themed episode, I assume. I don't know. We'll do something for Christmas.
We might. Spine tingling. That's another word.
That's a great one. Why don't we get into today's topic, the stuff that you guys come here for? I want to give a shout out to Ryan Benson at Ryan W. Benson for a suggestion of the topic we're going to talk about today, which is the Hopkinsville Goblins.
Ooh. And are we talking about goblins or hobgoblins?
Hopkinsville Goblins, but they are called...
They're not hobgoblins.
Well, we'll get to it. But shout out to Ryan Benson, horror author.
Yeah, Ryan Benson. He's an up-and-coming horror writer. He's got a story coming out next month in the Trembling with Fear at Horror Tree e-magazine. He also has a story, Purple Twilight, in the last April's issue of Siren's Call, a collection of short stories, usually of the horror weird fiction theme, coming out later this December. So a really talented guy.
So thanks to Ryan for the suggestion. Today, Kelly Hopkinsville Encounter on Monday Morning Macabre. Okay, so Scones...
Bone chilling. Another word. Bone chilling.
Great job. What do you know anything about the Kelly Hopkinsville Encounter?
No.
Great. This is good. This is
great for 10.
This is great 10. Ludicrous story. First UFO related story I think we've done so far on the pod. So shout out to UFOs.
And Ludacris.
Specifically Ludacris, who looks like a UFO. Let's just dig into Ludacris this episode.
That's what I wanted.
So, Kelly Hopkinsville Encounter. This was on Sunday, August 21st in 1955 in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. So we're going back to the 50s. So everything's black and white. Okay?
Yep. The way it was.
The way color wasn't invented until like 63 or something like that.
That's true.
So we have Elmer Lucky Sutton, who we'll refer to as Lucky. A man in his early 20s was visiting his mom, Glennie Langford, and 3 half-siblings, Lonnie, Charlton, and Mary.
The 3.
Yeah, the devil, the McDonald's.
The what?
3. I don't know why I said the devil's 3. Wow.
All right, the devil's 3. Some Johnny, and what's
Johnny, and Johnny. It's like Tony, but... So he was on break from his job as a traveling carny.
He's my favorite.
Yep. So Lucky's a carny.
Carnies.
He was with his wife and fellow carny, Vera.
Oh, a carny love story.
Yeah, hashtag carny love story.
That's trending on Twitter.
And their friends Billy Ray and June Taylor for the weekend.
Wait, Billy Ray Cyrus?
It's Billy Ray Cyrus and Lucky Luciano. And they went to
the story is so star-studded.
This group of friends and carnival workers go to Lucky's place for the weekend at his parents' farm in Kentucky, in Hopkinsville. Also, his brother JC and his sister-in-law Aileen, plus Aileen's brother OP, were also there.
OP?
Yeah, and all in all, there's 11 people at this farm. Okay?
That's a big farm.
It's a lot of people for this little farm.
How many people were on Hinterkaifeck?
You had
that was a farm, right?
5 or 6,
and they got.
They got. So 11 people. I mean, so the 11 started playing cards, and during this card, they're hanging out, playing cards, doing what you do in the 50s. And Billy Ray was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go get some water from the nearby well." So he walks out to the well, And he comes like running back into the barn. And everyone's like, whoa, what's going on, Billy Ray? And and
he's got his horses in the back.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I have the best pilot for a show for my daughter, Hannah Montana. And so he comes running back and he's yelling about how he has seen this round metallic object with rainbow colored streaks trailing behind it moving through the sky towards the farm.
Sounds like a Beatles music video.
So he's freaking out and they're all like, oh, Billy, you're such a jokester. Like, good one, Billy Ray.
I love that his name is Billy Ray.
Yeah, everyone in this story has like
I can't get over
classic 50s farmhouse name vibe. So he's freaking out. And everyone assumes he's joking or that he saw a shooting star or a meteor, but Billy Ray insists and he seems like genuinely bothered. So Lucky's like, all right, you know what, Billy Ray, if this is really freaky.
All right, Billy Ray.
All right, Billy Ray. I couldn't take you seriously before, but now. So he's freaking out so much. So Lucky's like, okay, why don't we go back out to where you saw this object and we can put this to rest because, we want to play our card game.
Clearly, it's just another Billy Ray classic.
It's a classic Billy Ray goof and gaff. And
exactly.
So Lucky and Billy Ray walk out to the well. This is never not going to be funny to us. So upon arriving at the well, the duo saw nothing out of the ordinary. However, while coming back to the barn, the two see something in the distance. There's a glowing object approaching from the woods behind the house.
Ooh, it's coming.
Right. So as the object gets closer, the two realized it was a, quote, short human-like creature with large eyes, 2 legs that seemed to float rather than walk, and 2 arms raised as if in surrender. So Lucky and
it's a total wuss.
So they scream. The two are screaming and they're freaking out and they come running back inside.
What? It was surrendering.
Well, but they still see this creature from a fucking another planet. So around this time, a neighbor who lived about a quarter mile north of the Suttons, which is Lucky's last name, so the Sutton farm, noticed lights in the woods behind the farm and assumed the family was searching for an animal that might have escaped. So there's other people who can attest to seeing strange objects and lights in the woods. So the neighbor would later hear gunshots, to which he assumed that the family was dealing with a bobcat preying on their livestock. That's like what he told the press.
Yeah.
He's like, they're in the woods. We're just shooting at bobcats.
All the bobcats just getting in my house.
So Glennie, the mother, was like, why is everyone freaking out?
Glennie, the mother is my new rap name.
Yeah, at Glennie, the mother, dropping another mixtape soon. So the mother didn't understand the commotion. She'd lived on the property for decades, never experienced anything out of the ordinary, and she was annoyed at Lucky talking about otherworldly goblins. That's the word he used.
But not hobgoblins?
No, he said otherworldly goblins.
Okay.
And she was worried that it would scare the children, so she sends all the kids to bed. And she's like, Lucky, what the hell are you doing? You're Lucky. Scaring all the kids.
You and Billy Ray.
Yeah. So Lucky and Lucky and Begilly.
Yes.
So Lucky and Billy began standing guard at the doors. Lucky had a 12-gauge shotgun. Billy Ray had a 22. So they're packing. This is a classic farm weapons 1955. Upset with how far her son, Lucky, was going with this prank, she knew that if she went to him, he was not going to like let up about this whole prank. This is Glennie thinking like, okay, my son's going to continue to be a jokester. So she goes to confront Billy Ray in order to get the truth. Billy Ray says to her, Miss Glennie, I hope you don't have to find out. So she's like, okay,
they're armoring up. And Glennie thinks it's all just a bunch of hootenanny.
Yeah, but the two guys are like, no, we saw a goblin from another world. I know my name's Billy Ray, and that's insane. But I've seen this with my eyes. So Lucky, Billy Ray, and Glennie are sitting in silence waiting while the rest of the family talked in the living room when a figure about 3 feet tall appears in the doorway out of the darkness. Glennie screamed.
Wait, in the house?
At like the front door of the house. This figure comes out of the darkness and comes to the door. Glennie screamed, and everyone comes running because she's the first one to see this object in the doorway. So Billy Ray immediately shoots, right? So he shoots at the object, piercing a hole in the screen door. He then runs out to the porch chasing after the creature. As he did, a claw hand reached down from the roof, grazing his hair. Ooh. So this thing ran to the roof, he's chasing it, and apparently it grazes his hair.
Just
with
like
the claw.
That's soft.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this Garnier fruit teeth right there.
Billy Ray, and as we do know, Billy Ray does have great hair.
I mean, if you've ever seen him, he's like a water buffalo with human legs. He's got that beautiful hair. Aileen grabs Billy Ray, pulls him back inside, while Lucky continued pursuit. Lucky runs outside, and aims his 12 gauge at the roof and fires. This hit the creature, and it rolled off the roof and ran into the woods, appearing totally unharmed.
It took a fucking 12 gauge and
He
was
12
like,
gauge
ouch.
and just shot it at his roof. Hit this like...
No, I'm more impressed by the creature just taking a 12 gauge and be like, ouch, and going into the woods.
It just rolled off the thing and just ran into the woods. So as this is happening, at the same time, right? Everyone else is in the living room like, what the... Like, people are shooting. There's fucking aliens on their roof, like, getting hit by shit and rolling around.
Running its hand through my hair.
Yeah, running his hair through his hair delicately, and he feels really good about it and is really sensitive, but he doesn't want to tell everyone else because he thinks they're going to think he's weird, but he's, like, kind of attracted to the alien.
It starts whispering in his ear.
So, meanwhile in the living room, a pair of glowing eyes appears in the window. JC, Lucky's brother, shot through the glass at the creature with a shotgun. So JC's also got a shotgun. We've got 2 shotguns and a 22. JC's in the living room. He sees the glowing eyes. He turns. He fires at it, breaks the glass. Billy Ray follows the shotgun blast with his own bullet from his 22, which reportedly hit the creature. The creature then takes off running.
Okay.
So they're having a full-on gunfight on this farm.
I was going to say, yeah, it's a full-up shoot 'em out.
It's a full-up
That's not a
full-up shoot 'em
full-up
out.
shoot 'em out.
It's a classic Kentucky full-up shoot 'em out.
Real Hatfields and McCoys, but it's humans and hobgoblins.
Exactly. So creature takes off running. At this point, Glennie's like, okay, you guys weren't joking. I'm freaking out. She begins praying and grabs the previously sleeping children and brings them into a back room to hide.
Bring out the thoughts and prayers, the big guns.
Yeah. So she's like, hey, kids, come with me. We're going to the back room because this is legit. There's aliens attacking our fucking farm. Like this, I don't know if you've ever seen that Twilight Zone episode where the thing attacks the lady in the farmhouse, but it's literally that. So they all run to the back room. Lucky, Billy Ray, and JC, the hottest boy band in Kentucky. The 3 armed men took to the yard, and they see another creature in a nearby maple tree and begin firing at it. But instead of falling, it just floats away. It's just like, oh no. Yeah, it just literally T-poses and yeets into the woods.
Just hold on, we're going home.
So they distinctly notice at this point that when they're hitting these goblin demon things, the noise that they hear is not flesh or, a normal animal getting hit. It sounds like bullets hitting metal. Like if you shot up a trash can, it would make like a metallic noise. So they hear this and they just were like, okay, we got to rethink this. They run inside and they're like, okay, guns do not work on these things.
They're floating buckets.
Yeah, they're literally just like these metallic space aliens. We can't do any damage to these things. Nothing can be done. So back inside, the group try to figure out what they're seeing and try to like come up with rational explanations. They figured that if they didn't want to harm the farm owners, why did they keep coming back after getting shot at? Like if it was just peace, why wouldn't they be like, oh, okay, they don't like us, we'll just leave.
Maybe they're into that.
So they're convinced that these are bad boys. One of the group noted that light seemed to scare the beings off, as whenever a light come on, the beings would back away. So they go through the house.
It's always that way with aliens. It's like something super simple kills them. It's like water. Oh, the common cold or water.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So they go through the house. They turn on all the lights, and they basically they're in their fully
problem solved.
They turn on all the lights, and they wait in silence in the fully lit home, and they hear movement on the roof. Lucky runs outside, and he sees another goblin and fires at it. The being scrambled out of sight, making it abundantly clear that the beings were not deterred. So they're like, okay, lights are not doing it. Gunfire's not doing it. Nothing is working on these goblins.
They're lucky Mothman didn't show up with all
that's
the
what
light.
that's what I'm saying. These could have been like Mothman's babies.
Exactly, and the little moth babies could be coming for the light.
Yeah, that's true. Right, that could have attracted more moth babies.
Callback, episode 1.
Yeah. So the group decides that the only way to get out of this is to escape. They're like, we can't damage them. They're like metal, monster, alien, demon beings. And if we stay here, they're obviously not deterred by the light. So we're just going to wait for the coast to be clear and run for the truck. So that's exactly what they do. They all pile into a truck and they manage to get down to the police station. Now, as you can expect, being like a police officer on duty at like midnight, when a group of 11 people come in, like
all into the truck,
yeah, screaming about,
"Hey, sheriff!"
Yeah, exactly, about how creatures are attacking their farm. They're obviously like, okay, you guys are just either high or like
there was a gas leak in your house,
right? You're freaking weirdos. But the deputy on duty is like, okay, I can tell that they're all genuinely freaking out and like super scared. Let's just calm their nerves. So the officer on duty that night calls up the county sheriff's office, and they also call the nearby Fort Campbell Army base, who dispatch their own police. So the Army police, the normal police, they get dispatched to go to the house. Now, this dispatch perks the ears of a local paper, who gets wind of the story and send their own photographer.
Ooh, a real
gumshoe.
Yeah, I was going to say gumshoe.
Within an hour, half a dozen law enforcement and media members have converged on the farm, including military personnel. So
what a scene.
I know, exactly. You can picture it. You've got police cars, caution tape, army trucks, media vans, all on this small farmstead.
Just looking to do battle with these floating buckets.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to find the floating spooky bucket boys.
That's a shirt.
So the authorities searched the farm, looking for the little men, as it was called, but found no sign of them. Only holes
Only holes allowed at that party.
Only holes in the window screen and shotgun shell casings. One officer noticed a glowing in the forest, but investigation found nothing. So the officers took each family member aside independently, because at this point they're like, okay, you guys just like made us get all these resources out here, so we're going to interview each of you independently and question you, because there's no way you're going to all corroborate the same story because you're a bunch of liars. But they all have the exact same story. They can all attest to seeing the exact same things, and they all agree. All 11 people.
You think Billy Ray and Lucky aren't going to be on that same wavelength?
Exactly.
They're out of your fucking mind.
You think Vera and Lucky don't have that carny second sense? So after hours of investigation with no results, the police finally they're like, okay, obviously nothing's going on here. We're leaving. So everyone leaves. The family has one final encounter with the creatures. Glennie, after all this happens, they all like, okay, we'll go to bed. It seems to have calmed down. Glennie was trying to get to sleep after the police had left, which by then was about 3:30 a.m., when she noticed glowing eyes in her window. She calls for Lucky, but the creature was gone by the time he got there. Lucky and Billy Ray stood watch for the remainder of the night and never saw another creature. So that's the story, right? Over the next few weeks, dozens of UFO fanatics flocked to the farm hoping to find evidence of the aliens. And there's actually a newspaper clipping I'm going to post in the show notes of the actual like newspaper clipping and a picture of like Lucky or Billy Ray with a shotgun. Like they
I want to see Billy Ray.
So a bunch of UFO fanatics flocked to the farm hoping to find evidence of the aliens. There's a quote by a UFO festival chairperson.
What a title, dude.
He's quoted as saying, "There were so many reporters and looky-loos coming by and walking around the property, taking things and calling them souvenirs."
Dude, I fucking hate looky-loos touching my stuff.
So these looky-loos come by and start taking things as souvenirs, and the family got sick and tired of being harassed and called liars, and within 10 days they leave. They pack up and leave.
The family leaves?
Yep. The whole...
Oh, the poor...
Yeah, they get harassed so bad, and people are like stealing stuff from their farm, and so this is what a UFO festival chairperson says. He's like, yeah, the family, they peace out. Now, Glennie moved to an apartment and refused to live in the country anymore at all after that. She's like, I was way too...
She's a city girl?
She was a country girl her whole life. And she's like, I can't live in the country anymore. I can't be alone like that. I need nearby people.
That's how being a country girl and then goblins make you into a city gal.
I just need to find a girl who's been goblinfied and is now...
giving up her rural lifestyle due to metallic goblins.
Honestly, it's a classic rom-com setting.
This will be an everlasting love.
So
she used to be a country girl.
Yeah.
And now she's in the big city after a goblin.
After a goblin yelled at her
after
house.
looky-loos run her out of town. Jennifer Lopez is.
I was trying to think of Ryan Reynolds.
And Eva Mendes.
He's a city boy just trying to find his way in his corporate architecture environment.
And she's a rural girl chased out of town by looky-loos and space goblins.
Jennifer Aniston.
In a love encounter of the third kind.
Ooh.
This will be...
I want to get I wish that was a public domain song.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I'm singing it. You don't know what song I'm singing.
No.
That's my interpretation.
It's a parody.
Yeah, it's all parody.
Okay, so, but this is just examples of how this has like legitimately affected them. And it's not, if they were making it up, they wouldn't, all these things wouldn't happen because they'd be like, I was just joking around.
I'm just
joshing. So Glennie moves to an apartment in the city after being a country girl her whole life. JC couldn't hold down a job anymore. It messed him up so badly, like psychologically.
Oh, JC.
He's toast. It messed him up so bad he couldn't hold down jobs. His life and career just get destroyed. Multiple artists have made different renditions of what the creature looks like using witness testimony. So from those police investigations of each individual person, a bunch of different artists have taken what they've described and made like their own renditions. And all of the drawings are like almost identical.
Ooh.
They all come out like the exact same.
Little space gobs?
Yeah, again, adding credence to what they've seen and like that this was a legitimate thing that they all experienced.
I'm looking at a picture now. It's like a little,
It's
the
hard
face,
to. Yeah,
it doesn't really have facial features. It's
no,
kind of
it's just
like
like
a
big
mouth,
glowing eyes with like bat ears.
super drawn across mouth, like the Canadians from South Park.
Yeah. I'll make sure to put up on the notes page those renditions along with that newspaper. But so into skeptic theories, many UFO writers and skeptics believe the UFOs were monkeys brought back from the carnival by Lucky and Vera. That's one of the theories, is that people think that these monkeys, they might have had them with them from the carnival.
Dude, that'd be insane if these monkeys could take a 12 gauge to the chest
Just
and
like,
be like, fine. Yeah. Ding, ding, ding.
Others believe that it was great horned owls. And
again, can't take a 20 gauge shot.
So they say Kentucky moonshine and great horned owls. And according to author Brian Dunning, he quoted as saying, "There are simply too many similarities between the creatures reported by the families and an aggressive pair of the local great horned owls, which do stand about 2/3 to a meter tall."
It's a pretty big owl.
Big owl, claws, they would explain claws.
When you say Kentucky moonshine, did you mean the actual light from the moon?
I mean,
I thought he meant like they were drunk off Kentucky
no,
moonshine.
I mean drunk off Kentucky moonshine.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I don't mean like a beautiful moon.
I was like, if you look at them just right in the moonlight, they look just like space goblins.
Like space goblins made with metal bodies.
And that moon really makes them sound like metal when a shotgun rings off their chest.
No, people are saying that they were all really drunk and they saw owls, which fair. Now,
I'll probably do that this weekend.
Other skeptics say that the glowing color they saw in the woods was foxfire, a bioluminescent fungus that grows on decaying wood.
Now, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So they're like, it's just fungus
glow-in-the-dark mushrooms
that glows on decaying
glowing
wood.
enough to light up a forest.
Yeah. But I mean, you would think that they would have seen that all their lives or whatever. Like, you think
yeah,
they'd be used to
they're
that.
rural people, as we said before, even though now they may be
You're
city
telling me
gals.
Billy Ray doesn't know foxfire? Come on.
Dude, they probably pick foxfire every year.
Right, exactly. So
who doesn't?
So now we're going to jump ahead 14 years.
Ooh,
okay.
So what year is it?
It was 1955. 14 years is 1969.
Oh, man. It's going to be on the moon.
What?
Stanley Kubrick's masterpiece of the moon landing comes out that year.
What if we were so smart that we somehow made this all tied together between like every episode?
That would have been so smart of us.
Anyway. 14 years later, Geraldine Sutton, Lucky's daughter, who is now 8, so he has a few children, she hears a knock at her front door. A stranger is standing there and asks to speak to her dad, Lucky. Lucky comes out and briefly speaks to the man. He then explains to Geraldine why an author looking to discuss UFOs had come to their house. So he sits down the kids and is like, listen.
Back in my day.
Yeah, exactly. I had an insane experience. He explains this all to the children. Geraldine grows up and was interviewed about her father, and she said, "My daddy didn't like how people treated him once the story got out. People made fun of him. It was traumatizing. Still to this day, the group of witnesses who are alive are afraid to talk about it." So many like skeptics and stuff. Yeah, so the community kind of like would make fun of him and be like, "Oh, it's the, it's the hobgoblin guy. It's the goblin from Space Guy.
It's the goblin people."
So
Billy Ray.
She kind of explains how like everyone involved has had a rougher time since the incident. Now, Lucky's like, well, you know what? Why don't we go back to they had moved out from the farm at this point. So now Lucky's like, hey, kids, we're going to go back to the farm and I'm going to just show you where this event took place now that you all know about it. So like, cause I know you're interested. So they go back to the property. It's still standing, although it's vacant, and it's been vacant since they moved out. And so he brings them to where Billy Ray say he saw the craft land, and there's the well still there, everything's still standing, but they do see a strange circular impression in the ground. And that, yeah. So
UFO.
Right. Now, this encounter has been the basis for a lot of pop culture alien references.
I bet.
The popular term "little green men" comes from this because a media member misheard one of the family say "little gray men" and heard "little green men," and because they were describing these goblins.
The media.
Right. So this is like literally the origin of so much UFO stuff. So little green men, many alien movies have the trope of the flying saucer.
Yep.
They also have the army trucks responding. And like, think of how many alien movies where all the army like rolls in, the police. This is literally this.
E.T., Super 8.
All those third
anything.
kind, all that. It was the loose basis for the film Critters. Every year, the Kelly Hopkinsville community celebrates the anniversary of the event on the third weekend of every August.
Oh, what the fuck? Why are people ostracizing them then if they made a holiday weekend of it?
Well, I mean, this is like now, 62 years after the fact.
Oh, that's true.
It's called the Kelly Little Green Men Days.
That sounds like a car sale.
Yeah, it does.
The Kelly Blue Book Little Green Men Honda Days.
0% APR on your favorite cars. We're giving them away if you can lift my dead body off of the hood.
And they're flying out of the lot.
The Pokemon Sableye is based on the Goblins.
Ooh.
I'm not a big Pokemon person, but if you play Pokemon...
Sableye, that's a ghost and dark type, though.
Damn. And finally, on August 21st, 2017... the same day on which the event 62 years earlier happened, an eclipse took place in the U.S.
That's bonkers. I thought you were going to say one of the little green men ran for mayor there, but no.
Can you guess where the eclipse was? Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Isn't that nuts? Exact same day.
So I'm convinced it's real.
Yeah.
2, I'm convinced the Army did find something and they covered it up.
Ooh,
and then
interesting.
1969, we get to the moon. Not without a little bit of help from the gray
I like
men.
that. That's a really good idea. That's a good train of thought.
Yeah, there was a bunch of definitely little aliens working with, like, they had little lab coats and little glasses perfectly made for their size.
Yeah, they have to give them like high heels. They're all walking around in high heels.
Yeah, the lab coats are the same size, so like the,
they got
sleeves are
the
wicked
wizard
long,
sleeve arms.
and they all have red high heels on, and they're like waddling around pointing to boards.
Yeah, putting in blueprints and shit.
Yeah, just be like, and all the people can understand them for some reason.
But that's that is the Hopkinsville Goblin case.
That's nuts. The eclipse part especially.
Yeah, I loved the.
Blows
so what
my
I loved
hair
about
back.
it is that it's a hilarious, insane story to begin with
Just
like
getting a
firing
shootout with
yeah, and like their house was littered in like bullet holes after the fact. I also really appreciate the fact that there's the spooky elements afterwards of like the impression in the ground and the eclipse. I think that's really freaking cool.
Shirley's.
And this is the spawn of every like pop culture UFO thing for the next 60 not whatever years, 62 years. So yeah, that's the Hopkinsville Goblins case.
That is awesome.
Shout out again to Ryan Benson. Thanks for the suggestion. It was a super cool read, and I appreciated looking into it. If anyone else out there has suggestions, definitely tweet at us, send us some Instagram DMs, whatever you want. I mean,
do it.
We appreciate it.
We'll look into it, and if there's enough on it to make a full episode, we'll go into it.
We'll go into it, or we'll do like we can.
I would love like stories of someone being like, yeah, in my backyard there was this ghost, but sometimes we might not be able to make a full half an hour out of that.
Yeah, maybe we can do like a listener write-in episode where we can combine a bunch of
little ones. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, but thank you.
Yeah, at Ryan W. Benson, all one word on Twitter, and he has 4 stories again coming out later this month in the new issue of Siren's Call.
And shout out to the Country Living article that had a lot of information on them.
That was Country Living?
There was a Country Living article.
Even though it converted them to City Living?
But yeah, there are a lot of that information comes from Country Living and some other sources that we'll put up on the notes page. But make sure to follow us on Twitter, Macabre Pod. Follow us on Instagram at Monday Morning Macabre, Facebook at Monday Morning Macabre, and our website, mondaymorningmacabre.com, where we have all the show notes, all of our episodes. Anywhere you get podcasts, you can find them. And tell your friends, subscribe, like, review.
Tell them all. Spread the word.
Do all that good stuff. And thank you, and have a good Monday.
Have a good Monday.
Bye. Bye.